Two new opponents for our second series of the night. Team Secret taking on the boys on TSM. We've been speaking a lot, Danog, about, these Southeast Asian players going to different regions where we have a couple of Indonesians battling out. Of course, Whitemon on TSM up against FBZ on Team Secret. So it's going to be a nice little affair between them. And of course, an important series overall as well. Team Secret currently 0-4 as one of the play-in teams. TSM, they had a good day. They are 2-2. One of their wins, of course, was up against the boys on Team Liquid, which is, to be able to get a series, a map against them. And then Shopify as well, which, that's also very impressive too. So TSM, I think, have to be very happy with their start. There is a lot for them to build on now.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't get a chance to have a look at what exactly happened differently between games 1 and game 2 of the Shopify series, but just from reading comments, people are always very measured with their comments about the games. It was like, TSM's trash, blah, 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 blah. But basically, they ran the same draft back-to-back on Shopify, and they crushed one game, and then they got beaten horribly in another. And I just can't see why without going back to watch it. Of course, we were casting the time, so there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of Dota going on, and there's only so much that you can review at this point in time. But what I do know is that it was around that IO Leshrak combination, and with TSM have been able to pick it up. They have a 100% win rate, so I'm sure that Team Secret, that's going to be firmly at the top of their radar when we do get into this draft.
All right, we got to even cast Secret yesterday with their series versus Talon, which of course 2-0 again with not able to take the victory. We saw there was a lot of emphasis from Secret with their Snapfire. I think both those games, it was picked up in the first phase. One of the games we saw Armel play it, another game we saw Yamage play it as well. So of course we're going to be looking at kind of the Snapfire, going to be looking at Chrysalis as heroes, and we also see often they get drafted first phase. And the Puppy heroes too. Speaking of some of the Puppy heroes, Enigma currently banned out from TSM, so one of those you will not have for Mr. Puppy.
Mm-hmm. Also, just a bunch of other Puppy heroes. I'm a fan of the Chen, but it's got a 25% win rate, so I'm not sure if this is the tournament for it. I'm not sure if people have a set idea of exactly how they're going to be able to play around it. I think you could still get away with, well, there we go. Maybe we'll see Puppy pick up the Chen, against the Enchantress. Feels relatively solid. You are very single target though, so maybe they're going to be feeling a little bit more anxious in that regard, but certainly we can see if you're going to run a Chen, it's got to be an aggressive style of game. You don't want the game to drag out. You really do drop off in your effectiveness if that's going to be the case. And I'm honestly a little surprised that TSM didn't go just for the IO to begin with and, potentially force that Leshrak coming through.
So what could the response be from Secret? Could look for an Enchantress. I was going to say maybe the IO +1 if that's something, a strategy you're looking to run, because Armel's Lesh is very formidable.
IO Primal is very strong as well. Just for the laning stage, I think you can certainly look to get away with it. Your movement speed, but I like this too. I was actually, you remember yesterday I was actually talking about how I'm a little disappointed that Secret aren't picking this Batrider a little bit more. It's actually one of their highest banned heroes by far, but something between then and now has clearly changed because you are just able to get away with far too much when you're playing this hero in a support role. Primal Beast very quickly able to take a lot of that farm, able to push out waves, but when you're not able to, pretty easy for a Batrider to just sneak his way through right next to your tier 3 tower and just take neutral camps and the waves at the exact same time as a Morphling coming out. All right. Tomato plays a good Morphling, but I'm not seeing any huge Morphling counters at this stage.
Tomato is this guy's Morphling is on another level, so they feel like they have a lot of confidence. And what do we... Because Secret with their opener, it's very flexible, right? With the Primal Beast Batrider, we can say, I really think Dino can be played in 3 roles, 4, 3, and 2. Batrider can far out 4 roles. Yeah, yep. So, but then TSM, this is just safe lane. The Chen, the Morphling. So if we do say that Team Secret are going to be playing Primal Beast Batrider into the Chen Morphling, is that TSM favored? Do you kind of have to avoid that on Secret and then put these 2 heroes in separate lanes?
I'm honestly not sure with this because everything about Chen tells me you want to play fast. Everything about Morphling tells me you want to play slow. And sure, you can potentially get a really good lane off, but they heavily nerfed Morphling's adaptive strike for the laning stage, right? It went from 10 seconds at all levels to now 16 at level 1, and it goes down by 2 each level. So I'm not sure if you can actually lane these 2 together because if you are laning up against a primal Batrider, you're probably going to be not spending a lot of that time farming.
All right. Well, we'll see what the Chen's able to do then to potentially help out. Like if it's not going this adaptive strike build. Which have you even seen Morphling skill builds lately? I have to imagine it's like more points in the attribute shift than waveform. Yeah, sure.
Well, you have to remember that the bonus agi and stuff is still linked to the adaptive strike, so you kind of need it. And of course, it's dependent on what support you have playing with you as well. Are you able to get the range creep? If not, then good luck. And that's really what the adaptive strike is used for in those early levels. I mean, the plus side is it's still only 16 seconds. You're going to be able to use it every single wave minimum, and probably twice. Once for harass, one for securing last hits. But it certainly isn't as spammable as it used to be. So we'll see. I mean, with the Chen, if you are laning together, Chens often go into that Bassi ring as well early on, just so that at level 3 you can look to go back and jungle a little bit. But it gives you benefit for the lane, but you're just not going to get quite as much benefit as you used to.
So
spamming this out though.
Sorry, spamming the Chen. Now that we see like TSM's lineup and kind of the heroes they have, do you need to be considering maybe like a Skadi builder on Secret, or like a Vessel builder, or someone to deal with the sustain the Chen provides, and kind of the Morphling as well with like the attribute shift?
I mean, that's why the Drow got banned out, right? Like a natural Aghanim Scepter builder, good against the Morphling just in general. But yeah, it would have been a fantastic Drow game, especially with these two heroes like Primal and Batrider that are able to get up in your face and be able to prevent a lot of that. Now it looks like they're just looking to get rid of a lot of the Chen counters, so someone that's just able to stand in front of a wave and deal with the eventual Chen push with relative ease. So, I don't know if you want to go something like Underlord. I think you can very easily just get away with getting Puppy's hero now, whatever that may be. Maybe Elder Titan. I guess against the Morphling it feels pretty solid, right? Get away all of that that armor that you're able to play with. You can also have a very easy setup for the Echo Stomp off the back of all of the other spells that you've got. You got to remember that the magic is actually linked to the astral spirit and the magic. The physical portion of the natural order.
5 seconds remaining.
Hang on, say that again. Sorry.
The natural order, just how the astral spirit and you kind of are linked together with like what does what.
The armor reductions on your hero, right? Not the spirit.
Yes,
yeah,
correct. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, like, when you've got it out ready to do a lot of the stomping, you'll have a Batrider with Lasso, with Flame Break, with Firefly up. You'll have a Primal Beast trampling around. So you really don't need to put yourself in harm's way to be able to get a lot of the effectiveness, even out of just the singular point in the natural order.
Let's see what the response is going to be here for TSM. They're going to have to, of course, reveal a little bit more with their draft.
I'm wondering, did they need to go some sort of like cleanse on TSM's side? Like, it's not really meta, but like Omni-Knight, they're just going to go an Underlord. They're 3-0 when they pick up this hero, by the way. And I mean, with a Rubik, it's a pretty solid lane. Maybe they're just feeling that an Elder Titan left in this lane isn't really going to do too much damage to an Underlord if you just leave him solo. But man, I know Team Secret got 2-0'd by Talon, but Puppy was by far Secret's best player on that Elder Titan when he was able to pick it up. He just landed the perfect Echo Stomps in basically every single team fight. It just wasn't enough.
Are there any range heroes you can come up with that they might be thinking of Secret? Or do we need to look for a melee hero?
Well, you have to remember that it's, like, in general, it's heroes that don't get screwed over by Morphling as well. And so this Underlord pick kind of covers both of those grounds, right? Now, if you look to go Illusion heroes, Firestorm deals with them relatively easily. So I'm really at a bit of a loss as to what Team Secret might be looking to go here. Like, do you just do something like a Terrorblade or something like that into this? I know Morphling can still go into you, but at least you've got that Linkens to be able to protect yourself. They don't really have any great Linkens breakers at this point in time.
TSM
Really trying to think Crystal's here. Okay, well, man. Danog, I was going to say, I've suggested Ursa a lot. No one picks the Ursa, even though I continue to suggest it. And I thought, maybe this might be the game for it, but I didn't want to say nothing, so...
You also say that you really don't like the Ursa because of how immobile you are, how counterable you are with Nullify being a lot more popular. Lots of things, really.
But I guess the one nice thing is who builds Nullifier on TSM? Maybe an Underlord, honestly, if you have a super good game, but Morphling's not going to, so...
I just instead wouldn't be a horrible Yule's game.
Yeah, but you can't go through BKB. That's kind of the big thing. Like, that's if you
Yeah,
can...
but you want the Yules against the Ursa for the status resist, don't you?
Yeah, but it's not like a replace. Like, sure, it can do a little bit, but the nice thing about the Ursa is you don't care about armor. You're more than happy with that. You get a bunch of damage out of your Fury swipes. And I am a little bit concerned about the lane though. Really, Ursa's lane is quite abysmal compared to how it used to be, and Rubik and Underlord can be very difficult to play into with all the spam. So I actually don't think this is an easy lane at all for Chrysalis. I think if TSM play it quite well, then Chrysalis can have a bit of a difficult time here, especially with Chen rotating through the portal as well. So I don't hate the Ursa pick, but he can have a difficult time.
I'm really feeling an Ember Spirit pick here for TSM. Like, for Bryle, it can be pretty good. You are somewhat capable of going into a Nullify if you absolutely need to. I feel like you're going to get a lot of value out of the BKB this game. Also, you are potentially a Yule Scepter builder. Like, it's not ideal for an Ember Spirit, but you can do it against a Primal Beast. Just to be able to slow him down a little bit. Bat Rider, of course, gets rid of the Napalms. Good against the Ursa overall. I wouldn't hate it, and it's one of course, Bryle's better heroes as well. So I think you could do a lot to be able to make space for this this morph.
I think Quap could be something you consider just because you don't know if the Bat's going mid as well.
True.
So, and they also don't have a lot of control on Secret. You also then need to consider about like the Primal Beast could also be mid lane. So there is a lot that you kind of need to be considering here for TSM with the potential of, I mean, it could just be, like we said early on, it could be Primal Beast, Bat Rider offlane. That Pango ban is very interesting, considering I think the Dino matchup is different than what it used to be. But we're going to go down the Snapfire route from TSM, so offer a hero that plays very well into anyone mid. They don't know the matchup. Let's go Snapfire. He's going to have a good time regardless and scale.
What about an Armel Lina? I don't hate Lina this game. I think he's going to be able to get enough space to be able to do whatever he wants. You know, outside of the Chen, no one's pushing. You know, and Snapfire, Morphling both don't really do anything. Underlord's job is to be able to prevent the Ursa from farming. They don't have insane catch. I think it's a good lane against the Snapfire as well. Ooh, okay. This could work too. You're able to do similar sorts of things, right? Keep it ranged, but just get a little bit more active. So perhaps punish TSM at those earlier timings than Lina might necessarily be able to do.
I don't know how much this comes into play, but I don't know how much a Rubik is a deterrent for a Lina pick, because every ability is incredible to steal.
Yeah, I guess.
So I don't know, because I agreed with every single point. I think it would have been a great Lina game as well. So we'll see what Armel is going to be able to do on the Wind Ranger. This is a very hit or miss hero for me in particular. Let's actually see, how is the Wind Ranger going in regards to statistics? 53%.
Okay, yeah, 50%. That's not bad. We've seen it flexed a lot.
Yes, yeah. I also don't know if that is including play-in and also the MENA qualifiers, because that's on the Liquipedia stats. So, regardless, though, overall, 53%, looking okay.
I'll be able to tell you if that's including the play-ins.
Thank you.
Without 53.585 is what it is with play-ins and what we're at included. Not MENA qualifiers, though.
Yep, all right,
So,
looks like it's the same as what I got, so...
nice.
All right, there we go. Let's see. All rounded here. Secret, they're going to follow up with the Wind Ranger, of course. How do we like this as the last pick for Team Secret? Do we feel like they have what it takes to be able to get their first victory on the board?
Possibly. I like the general idea of the Wind Ranger. I like the idea of being able to outpace the TSM draft. Again, Morphling and Snapfire are very slow heroes. Kasani has got his work cut out for him if he's going to be able to stop a lot of this aggression from happening. I, of course, have utmost faith in Armel to be able to perform well in that mid lane. It's really just a question of they don't exactly have the greatest push themselves outside of, well, no one really. They just don't have good push. So they're going to need to make those timings happen around a lot of those siege creep waves as well if they're going to look to put a sufficient pressure on so that Morphling is actually forced to join fights or has the risk of dying rather than just be slowed down a little bit.
All right, well, let us find out what we have in store for us already. Tip from White One over to FBZ. And one in return as well, of course, for the Indo boys. So we'll see how this game is going to shape up.
Think there'll be Indo boys or intro boys this game?
Say that again, sorry?
Will they be Indo boys or intro boys this game?
Intro boys.
Tell me you know the intro boys meme.
No.
Good early game throw, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe one of them will be an intro boy. Maybe the other won't.
They could both. We're very capable
That's
of
true.
throwing two
That is true.
ways. I remember someone. I was reading some comments about like, oh, they really want to make sure they get these lanes scouted out early on with RA placing that really deep observer ward. So they're going to be playing around the twin gate as well, just so that they can perhaps look to make that quick movement. Make sure they're not expending TPs as that second mover. But downside comes with, do you give up a strong lane to secure potentially 2 runes, or do you just go for the 1 rune and then, you know, go for the lane setup as a little bit more of a priority? There's no real winning situation or right choice for them to be able to make, but they have to live with whatever they choose, and it looks like Kasane is going to reveal that he's moving up towards the top side.
It also has a very interesting item build to start, but I'm going to fight for these bounty runes, so okay, never mind. It's going to be 3 for 1 for Secret. Yeah, Kasane went quad gauntlet, so very stat heavy, trade heavy lane. Like we said, this is I am expecting it to be a little bit more difficult for Chrysalis. I do not know though how much the Elder Titan changes it, because ET versus Rubik is incredible for Elder Titan. Like Rubik, no good abilities is still, you get Echo Stomp, you don't have Astral, you get Astral, you don't have Echo Stomp. In the lane, the ET just runs at the Rubik. So honestly, maybe this offsets like kind of how I think this lane is going to go, just solely because of Puppy's Elder Titan.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, you've already just gone early point in the Fury swipes here as well.
I mean, that's huge.
Yep. It's your regen, buddy. Gonna need to be given over by Ari as Puppy once again just getting up in his face right now. These early usages out of the Astral Spirit are really just to get them low, right? Especially if you're able to get rid of one of the couriers too. You're only going to have a set amount of tangos to be able to play around with, so Puppy is blocking up the hard camp, making sure that his stays nice and healthy. It's really going to be those... Another courier going down. It's really going to be like around those second and third usages of the Astral Spirit that they can potentially look to go for kills. Maybe like Chrysalis being level 3 is the timing that they're going to be looking for. Getting the singular range creep as well with this small camp pull. So, see done by Puppy. Be able to give a little bit of an easier time for his Ursa Warrior into the Underlord. Not an easy matchup, like we've been saying.
Of course, down bottom, how are we expecting this lane to go with the Chen Morphling versus the Bat Rider and Primal Beast? Seems like there's a lot of damage potential on Dire, but can we see any kills out of that?
I can,
Top
but
lane,
it really
Kasane? Blood Grenade used from Poppy, but yeah, with a Firestorm, we can't run into it.
I was thinking maybe they would wait until they're level 2, just so that you have the Echo Stomp available as well to allow the Ursa without any points in the overpower, just to get a bit of a free hit on between those Fury swipes. But, getting antsy for it, clearly feeling like the important thing is just to slow down this Underlord's farm as much as possible, because again, you've got 2 other really slow cores to be able to play with. So if the Underlord, the one that needs to stand in front of the towers, isn't having a good game, then that's a big plus for the rest of the team to just say, you know what, all systems go.
They block up any camps down bottom as well. It's like, no, all camps should be available for Whitemon to be able to take some of the creeps. I do wonder how free he's going to be to also kind of play his own game, because of course we know Chen is a little bit more of a greedier position 5 with wanting to try and farm up the jungle and get towards maybe like an early mech, or in this case an early soul crest by the looks of it.
Yeah, I mean, this doesn't seem like he's going to be playing at that super greedy style, right?
Another Korean. Yeah, Yamish tipped him as well for it. It's like, what's going on, man? What's your Korea?
3 couriers now?
Yeah.
TSM have lost? Yeah, that's a lot of gold. Really does start to add up. Quick maths. 400 or so? You're able to get off the back of that?
Secret got 3 bounties as well, so like we'll see. We'll see what this extra gold's going to be able to do.
Influencing some of these net worths a little bit, but Armel really bodying that mid lane. A really good time so far, 16 and 4 against the 15 and 2. It's just looking to get a lot of denies up This is really negating a lot of the effectiveness that Snapfire's look to play around with. You are picking this as a lane dominator, basically like a Shadow Fiend that has the potential for huge burst damage, but also providing utility rather than just being a pure right click.
Got to remember though, they did blind pick it, so this was kind of Snap. Don't know yet. Like, just regardless on whatever the last pick is for Secret, he's going to have a good time.
I'm still worried at how slow it is, though, man. Like, again, it only matters if Secret actually do something about it. So I'm really going to be looking towards Armel. Honestly, Armel, Yamich, and FBZ, right? They need to be looking to get quite aggressive this game if they're going to stand a chance to win this one.
So how do you think then TSM should play around that? Are you looking to consider about like very defensive wards around the river to kind of scout out these movements that we're expecting? As Poppy might just solo kill Ari. Nice telekinesis.
So when you say defensive wards, do you mean like to protect the hero think are going to get gone on? Yep. Or are you thinking potentially, like, because what I like are the wards that, for example, like what Ari's dropped in front of the tier 1 tower bottom, right? It's going to scout out a lot of those movements as it's about to happen, rather than reactively. You know, you can react to the action before it happens, rather than once it's already begun. So that's the sort of thing that I want to see. Of course, smokes are going to counter that, but it still allows you to get back in time while also, you know, wasting the enemy's time if that makes sense.
Okay. See, Ari's going to have to TP mid to try and refill the bottle for Bryle. It's definitely getting the treatment at the moment from Armel, 25 and 7 compared to the 22 and 5. Does leave Kasane solo top, so looks like once Crystal is able to continue to find the levels, 2 points Fury swipes, they should be able to solo zone Kasane out.
So speedy already. Even once that Astral Spirit wears off, he's got the Boots of Speed and the Wind Lace to be able to get away. Last hero. Also see Ari play around this this power rune. Not going to stack up at the exact same time, really just wanting to prioritize that over everything else.
First blood, Armel, nice movement over. Gotta look to try and somehow get the deny.
Nicely done by Yamich as well. Lane breaked, Bryle away. I'm sure he wasn't going to be able to claim that one. As well, I'm sure he's saying, take the bounty rune, but there's creeps. There's a siege creep and a range creep getting into the tower, and Armel needs to make sure that he's staying on top of that very slight XP lead that he's got right now over Bryle. Of course, the first blood helping out immensely.
Interesting Wraithman pickup as well for Armel. I mean, of course, universals, that's always nice, but that's going to be able to play.
They are leaning into this fact that they are going to have a slow, do-nothing draft on TSM. Tomato is going a minus on this this Morphling.
Yeah.
They're missing a couple of last hits as well, especially those really valuable flag bearer creeps. But I mean, if you're not going to do anything anyway, at least full-on commit to it. You know, like he's doing. He's saying we're not going to have a lot of space around the map to farm. They're going to be pushing our towers. They're going to take our farm space away. What's the most gold-efficient item at allowing us to do that? It's mining.
Well, we'll need some boys. They drag the wave, which will help the dive from Secret. Ari's going to reveal himself bottom. Meanwhile, top lane, Crystallis gets a solo kill. So now all of a sudden, because of what Poppy was able to do for the Ursa, he's gotten out of his weakest stage, and now with levels, he can solo the Underlord, frees up Secret to be able to play the opposite side of the map. And now, you just mentioned Morphling going Midas. Well, he's going to be trying to scale into a matchup that Ursa's very happy to go late game into. I will say, like, I don't know how different this is with this current Ursa compared to the Morphling, but usually you'd be pretty fine for Crystallis to be able to go against the Morphling as this game goes on.
I think it depends on a number of things, right? Like, how lucky do you get? Do you get the Mind Breaker, for example, to provide that silence against the Ursa? Do you get things like an Abyssal Blade nice and early on? Does he get the Aghanim Shard to be able to be a bit more survivable? You know, these sorts of things, but you absolutely do have the burst, especially when considering that you're playing with an Elder Titan as well.
Do have kisses online for Bryle. Did TSM make any proactive move this game? Like, cause with kisses, I mean, it's definitely a kill, unless you really mess up with it. So are you
with your question, like, that's kind of why I was like, huh, so why the Chen, you know? Like, I guess you could sort of play it in a way that You can, you know, manipulate the creeps behind the waves, make sure it keeps pushed out. But yeah, I really think if it's up to them, they're just going to keep farming and farming and farming until they get to level 20 on both Morphling and Snapfire.
All right. For the long game. I wonder if Whitemon gets lucky with something like a Purge Creep or something to dispel the win run. Maybe there's kill threat then. Would be very nice. Busy. Mess around a little bit. Smarto does have to be a bit cautious now. They can cheat. Oh, he's committed waveform. He's now in the thick of it all. Gonna need some TPs to come out. That's where Brow's gonna be able to come into play. Okay, we're a little bit off the mark. Snapfire down the bottom. I mean, I guess Ari's soaking some experience mid. They might be able to cut off Armel as well with the win run. Currently on cooldown for a couple of seconds. Armel will die as a result to that Kasane. Alright, he didn't even get the kill. It was Brow that's able to snipe that.
All right, that's a pretty big kill. I mean, again, you need to make the most out of these early rotations, and it's not even like Armel has gone for this like naked-ish javelin build. He's actually just switched up from the Maelstrom into a diffusal blade, so he really wants to make sure that he's getting in on top of Tomato, looking to make his life a whole lot more challenging.
So very interesting diffusal game. I mean, both Underlord and Snapfire also very much rely on mana and don't have the greatest mana pool. So, okay, I don't hate. I really like this from Armel actually, who unfortunately doesn't get the DD. Team all over to the right side. Brow gets another kill. Back to the mid lane though. Ari. Good chase down. Ari's gonna have Brow with him, and they'll even use the hand of God just in case.
You can't afford to even a Rubik is really important for them this game on TSM. It's well worth using that Hand of God just because, again, it's going to allow you to be present, especially around this siege creep wave that's now hitting into the mid lane. You imagine if the Rubik dies, maybe the puppy on his Elder Titan sticks around. Maybe they use that to be able to shove Bryle away. Maybe you actually take out this tier 1 tower. It's not only protecting the cause, but it's also allowing the Chen to just sit back and farm like he is. So Whitemon's going to continue to scale as well.
What are we wanting Whitemon to itemize into then? Because, like you said, he's going to try and continue to scale and definitely is playing for his own game. No one has kind of gone back into this jungle camp area where Whitemon's getting 3 of them. So what items would we like him to go down?
I don't think Whitemon's ever going to be in a position where he can go the Yules. Like, if you're getting gone on, you're kind of screwed. Man, it's an even better Nullifier / Yules game now with a win range being picked, actually. So, someone needs to get it. Can he afford to just go for a 4-staff instead? I'm not so sure. Maybe you could go just like straight Lotus. I'm not sure if you're going to get too much value out of a Drums this game on Whitemon. Really feels like that Solar Crest is, you know, of course it helps if there is a fight a little bit, but you can just use it to accelerate your farm even further. Smoke.
The first one of the game for TSM. Move down to bottom. FBZ, of course, already using the Pulverize. I know if this is the easiest kill though. 1800 health they have to go through along with the Vanguard. So they're actually going to turn their attention over to mid lane, potentially where Armel is currently positioned. That too is not easy though.
No, I think they're actually backing up because they got spotted. Like, some of the Chen creeps got caught outside of the smoke, so half of them were revealed, kind of giving away that that rotation. The plus side is, Bryle still is able to secure that Arcane Rune for themselves, and is he stealing away a lot of this farm? He's even using the Kobold as well to body block if Tomato is looking to pick some of that up.
I mean, a name we haven't said in quite some time because he's just been left on an island is Chrysalis, and this is Battle Fury now completed. A exceptional timing with the treads, Orb of Venom, and Stick. This is not a naked Battle Fury at all, so his farm is going to continue to skyrocket, and he could hit a very, very scary mid-game timing with Blink BKB.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's really the thing that Secret... I'm sure they would hope that they can play around a little bit more than just that timing. They'll want to have got a lot more done by that stage of the game. But, you know what, if it gets to that stage, you still won't be completely ready on TSM to take a lot of those engagements. So I can understand if Team Secret want to wait entirely for that. I really feel like they've got a window around the Diffusal Blade on Armel to be able to make something happen.
In fact, it's going to be TSM that really make the first movement as a group to try and contest the tower. Maybe that's one of the
Vanisher as well, the Chen. So
maybe that's
a little more conservative, perhaps, with this defense.
Top tower is under attack.
Doesn't look like we're going to get a defense out of Secret at all. Maybe that's one of the issues with Dire is just like, how do you actually take objectives? How do you open up the map? You've had a couple of heroes down bottom, but you haven't been able to shove the Morphling out of the lane. And now TSM just bring 4 heroes top. You get the tower. They are kind of setting up on Kasane. He does have Ari nearby to maybe help out, but the burst potential from Chrysalis is going to be too much for him to handle. Ari will be able to TP. I think he'll make it. Yeah, Chrysalis unable to even get any right clicks off, but a nice kill onto Kasane. Second death of the game.
Both as a result of Chrysalis in some capacity. Like in this early-ish Lincolns on Tomato, right? It's just going to allow him to continue to farm, even in areas where they might have taken one of your towers, right? Like, because look at what you're going up against. You're going up against an Ursa that's probably going to be building an Abyssal Blade at some point, but more importantly, the Lasso, the Pulverize, the Shack. Like, those are the real things that you're just wanting to dodge so that you've got a way to be able to...
What?
Or...
How'd the creep jump to the left? I feel like you got super unlucky there from Brian, but nonetheless, it is a movement that does not pay off.
I really wonder when Secret are going to flip the switch here, because you've reached your time on Armel. Like, you can, of course, go into that Manta, but you don't need to. Maybe... Do they have any vision up right now? No, the map is completely dark for them, so they are going to go for a smoke.
You just got Blink on Yarmich. Surely that is also with drums on Puppy, like you want to take a fight.
Yeah, maybe just soak up a little bit of this experience around the ancient camp that Chrysalis is able to pick on up. BZ closing in on the pipe, but not quite there. At least have the cloak component. Able to protect himself a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, this game's about to blow wide out now. Secret are ready to go. Like, TSM kind of made their own real movement for that T1 tower top, but now it's Dire's time to be able to finally do something. Chrysalis even moving on down just in case he feels required. I mean, they will be taking a fight on the opposite side of the map of Roche, but a potential kill, you could portal up top. But a fight might not even break out as well, as Tomato's even just going to leave the area. So they might just look to trade the towers, though, with mid being a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's Whitemon again using that Solar Crest for that exact purpose.
What's going on?
To assist with taking this one out, and yeah, looks like are they going to just go and steal this Roche away? They're just going to sit back and continue farming. All right, I mean, it's a big juicy wave at top. I understand wanting to make sure that you're protecting that without committing the TPs for it. Now Puppy is the only one that doesn't have it, so you've got to make sure that there's not too much action that happens around this mid lane or anywhere else away from the team.
This could be a really good fight for TSM. If Secret go back towards this Observer ward, they even have another ward to the left as well that could scout out Puppy trying to connect. Looks like they have read this though on Secret. No one really showing on the map. Puppy's just going to try and go deeper and deeper inside the left jungle.
Oh, the Spirit's going to
see the Spirit. Oh no, alright. Not the worst. Puppy will go down in the end. Why not?
Ooh,
I don't know.
The one spell you can steal.
I don't know about using the Ice Splitter, but anyway. The Gen Creeps also scouts him out. I mean, they just cleared off the creeps, but let's give them some information. Crystal's going to show on the lane as well. How do you start? He might be the one to go.
I mean, Wolf could join through that twin gate if he really wants to.
They might need him. They're going to go actually into Ari instead. So this split is really not going to provide them a whole lot. Meanwhile, Lasso's out as well with the damage from Armel. Crimson Guard's going to be able to mitigate a majority of this. They were still able to get the kill onto Ari. Kasane's rendered useless, so without any mana. But Brawl's going to do his best to try and turn it around. Even Tomato wants to get involved as well, but it doesn't look like TSM are going to be able to strike back. In fact, Secret, do they want to continue for more? Puppy's leading the charge. He's wanting some boys to follow up, but maybe they feel like that kill is enough along with the kisses down to go for Roche.
I think it is. I mean, no kisses, no... They've got the Underlord. He's got his Cryptic Guard coming back up, and actually look to just throw yourself onto the front lines with Puppy, scouting them out for now. Go back off.
Oh, they're busy. He wants to charge in. Never mind. Nice sidestep. Might have just put himself in his own grave, but Chrysalis wants to jump over the top. It's a beautiful shackle on the two. Brawl's in some danger. Look at the return kill, though. At busy, not available for the team fight with a turnaround Tomato. Beautiful use of the Wind Ranger replicate, but they won't really be able to get too much out of it.
There's value out of the Lincolns as well. They do have ways to be able to, of course, cancel out the Pulverize, but FBZ was making a beeline for Tomato, and realized that he wasn't anywhere near as effective as he was wanting it to be. So that early Crimson Guard is going to do wonders against a Wind Ranger. Amel wasn't forced to use the Focus Fire just yet, but even if he was, with this Diffusal Blade, sure, you can render someone else effective, but you're probably not going to be giving up any kills.
They can Roche, yeah. I mean, you have Chen with Solar Crest and all the creeps. I mean, Lil Shredder's only level 1, but I don't think you can leave this area on Secret. You're going to need Poppy to scout, which... Astral?
All those Skelly boys.
Yes, potentially. There will follow-up, though, which is the big issue.
Shentrix died.
Busy, he's going to try and charge in. Chrysalis as well, but an instant telekinesis. They're going to try and target down Kasane at the moment.
Stolen.
They did still pulverize. Let's see how that's going to be able to come into play from Ari. He's going to try and close the distance onto Armel. He'll do his best in the shot, but it's just not going to matter. Poppy's in with a multi-man, Echo Stomp, and Secret. Well, they can now look to try and take Roshan off the back of the team fight.
Really not sure why Ari went in so deep there. He's a Rubik who stole Pulverize, right? He could have been able to get a big usage out of that from range and still lock down the Wind Ranger, but he was really keen on just disabling Armel throughout that entire team fight. Just commits a little bit too far forward, and like you said, that was a fantastic Echo Stop coming through from Poppy.
Boy, oh boy. Poppy. Dude, what? How's this? All of a sudden, this leads 6,000. 4 kills. Get Roche. Get a little bit of farm across the map as well. And these are like supports as well. You give them some farm. Like, they can prove to be an issue. If Poppy wants to go for the Ag shot, or I mean, you'll probably get it from Tormentor, but once you get that, to potentially get the armor reduction on Tomato, we know the Bat Rider scale is without a doubt. This hero is incredibly done with farm, and Yamich is definitely going to be able to find it.
I think ET Aghanim Scepter should give more than 50% magic resistance, like
Yes.
more than a BKB. I think it should.
Yes,
I think it should
yes.
be like Lifesteal or Juggernaut equivalent. What is it, 80%?
Yes, I believe they are 80.
I just want to see more Elder Titan, especially with all these
Tomato?
freaking meepos that we're seeing.
How do they start this? It's a pretty good angle. Gonna have to maybe no, he's got Lincolns. Is killing possible?
That's the thing, right?
Is
He's
Kasane
popped
possible?
Crimson. 0 damage.
No mana now. Mel, this is just suicide.
Yep.
That was crazy from Secret.
Way too deep going in there. Just searching for any sorts of kills. I think maybe feeling a little bit too confident off the back of that past team fight, not realizing that it was Big Daddy Puppy that was the one that set up a lot of the action for you, and I really just don't think there is a good person to go on outside of the Snapfire right now. Bryle is the one that you're looking to find. Slow down this timing towards the level 20s. Level 13 right now, the start of a very awkward period for this Snap, and no defensive items that he's got so far, so he is the one that you want to be making moves on to.
He's working on them though, but yeah, without them yet, he's very, very vulnerable. Boys on Secret, who still have the ages for another 2 minutes 40. And they're probably going to continue to try and butt their head against the T1 tower. Maybe this was the move instead of trying to get the kill. Hit the tower. Look to go from them, being able to control the triangle, take a little bit of farm away, especially considering it was just the minute mark. So no one will be able to come nearby.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Takes a lot of control away from a pretty... Again, like, TSM's draft is farm-oriented. This was always going to happen. It's just a matter of what do Secret do with the time that they've got to be able to answer it with. Your Scepter on the Rubik.
Okay.
I don't hate that. Gives him a little bit of extra cast range. Wonder if he... it's just a tier 2 item, so Eye of the Vizier. Going to be lucky enough to be able to pick up that one for himself. Pupil's Gift instead, so we'll be hoping for a headband in 5 minutes. There's that big item as well, Aghanim Scepter. So you want to go into that Wind Ranger. You're building all these stats, you're building into a Manta style and eventually a Lincoln Sphere, but when you get that Lincoln, Wolfling is going to say thank you very much.
Lincoln's popped.
Quick fingers
Very
by
good
Ari.
reaction.
Is under attack.
Do they want to take the fight? I think a TP was actually cancelled on TSM.
Radiant's
Yeah,
top tower
you
is
think Tomato pretty much for a majority of this game, he's just going to be looking to play around with the Wind Ranger replica?
I think so. Maybe the Primal Beast, just because the Enrage does have that break mechanic, and it's nice to have a little bit of that extra AoE damage, but for sure, Wind Ranger just to have that extra win run. to be able to avoid the Ursa, right? Until he picks up MKB, how's he supposed to kill the Morphling in these earlier stages, right?
Well, with the Basher now, I think you can. I think this is a very vulnerable position for Morphling to be playing. You get a first hit bash, then all of a sudden that's plenty of time for Lincolns to be popped, and they do have stuns afterwards. So this is a bit of a scary time. It's going to come down to, once again, I think the position from Ari and maybe even the hand of God, which is only level 1 though. Bottom side,
solo again.
Birdie is, the boys are starting to move over, but that would just be too late. Maybe they can get a return kill. But TSM, they're going to make sure they bring everyone. They feel like this is a good fight to take. Chrysalis tries to jump into the trees. They're continuing to kite the Ursa for the moment, as this is not the fight that Secret were hoping for, but it doesn't look like they'll lose any more members.
Instantly get that Observer Ward D-wadded, but yeah, that's twice now that Armel's just thought, you know what, I'm good enough to be able to 1v5, but you are not, my guy. I mean, he at least fought away from Kasane to begin with, but as soon as he comes in, drops that Crimson Guard, didn't even need the Pit of Malice to be able to deal with him, so I really feel like Armel is going for the Lincoln Sphere, but he's going to need to go defensively the next couple of items.
Oh, should be able to get the Rubik. They are starting to come down bottom though on TSM. They'll use the Hand of God as well just to buy some time as Tomato tries to take the Elder Titan out of the equation. He's going to make him work for it though with the Crimson Guard. There's the bash as well, but Tomato preemptively pops the Attribute Shift. That's an early use of the BKB from Chrysalis as well. This is not the worst for TSM. If they can continue to kite back towards their tower, they're going to be cautious though, because what an Echo Stomp from Puppey onto 3. It's going to be able to set up for the Shackle as well. Armel wants to get Whitemon down, getting rid of some of the sustain as Chrysalis now can start to get the swipes going. Sinking his claws deeper and deeper into TSM as Kasane. There is no way back to the safety of your base. A Secret. Finally, the fight that they have been waiting for.
That's the thing, right? They went on a much better target to be able to start that one out, and again, it's all set up by Puppey. He's the one on the front lines. He's a tanky boy. He's got that full drum Solar Crest finished up for himself. He was able to bait it out. He had a great healing Lotus, 400 HP, and allowed the Ursa to come in, set up for that
Tomato.
next Echo Stomp.
Do they go for it? They got a pretty good high ground ward.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Almost got a Halberd finished up now off the back of that for FBZ, so suddenly, even against the Wind Ranger morphed into Morphling.
Dude just assassinates Ari. And now Whitemon's just dead as well. Yeah, this is soon gonna get to the stage when Secret are able to build this net worth lead. Like, these squishy supports, if you show for a second, you are just in so much danger.
They're still not ready. You know, this is the thing. If you're going to go a farm-oriented draft, and this is going to happen. They're going to run at you. At least you've got level 18 on Morphling. He's actually going into that nullifier that we've been talking about. They're realizing that, you know what, the Yule Scepter on its own, probably not going to be enough. Is anyone else going down that route? I know Underlord is going a nullifier as well after his own Heaven's Halberd. So I understand it. I'm just not sure if it's the best, like, hero item synergy.
About to be a 3v5. They're connecting from the other side. Puppey's going to try and get the Echo Stomp to enable them to catch up. It's a pretty nice pit, but it's not going to matter. With Kasane in with the lasso, they'll try and target down, and they should be able to secure the kill onto the Underlord. It will stay quite some time. It's not going to matter in the end. Kasane is still 5th death of the game. Tomato will be able to get out. But I just really wondering when this game gets any easier for TSM.
Snap 20. That's when it does.
Alright.
It's all about making space for Fryle right now. On the plus side, he's got the boots of travel, right? So he can move around the map relatively easily. Right now, got a lot of really deep vision ups. Going to be able to scout out instantly when he does make that TP back down towards the bottom side of the map. Maybe that's the timing that they're waiting for, right?
Sorry, I was just watching Tomato try and right-click at Busy, and he actually does no damage right now, so...
Yep.
Yeah, wow, alright. This is very scary. They're going to be able to get both Wisdom Runes as well, and they feel like they're in a position where they have to force a team fight, potentially.
I feel like Secret are in a position where they can look to go back and take the Roshan first. They don't know it, but the scan was just used, so they might be able to get away with it. Well, with Chrysalis just freshly picking up that Abyssal Blade. We saw how quickly the Underlord can melt, but it's got to be Chrysalis that gets onto him first. So you can't allow that Heaven's Halberd disarm to be able to come out. He'll have time to be able to pop the BKB after the halberd as well. Really expecting that to be the next big fight. But if TSM could make the jump happen, maybe things can change. Oh, look at that. The Astral Spirit procs Poppy once again on his Elder Titan, just rallying the troops back to this choke point.
I'll use the Sentry actually for a little bit of vision. Early BKB from Chrysalis. Wants to turn to Tomato with a bash out as well. Tomato's in some danger. Cookie to protect him. Force as well. Tomato will be able to get back to the safety of his team. What can they do now from Team Sim? They're retreating to a ward. Secret have so much information. Chrysalis going to jump over the top. Assassinates the Morphling. And with Tomato down, there is no hope of a rebuttal as they can catch up to Bryle as well. They were still holding the lasso just in case the further fight broke out. And Secret have 0 casualties. And up now, Roche could be up for grabs for them.
Could be, but you can just keep pushing down this tower. It looks like they want to make a bit of a move across to maybe take more than one lane at the time. The plus side is if you take top and mid, still got bottom to be able to take, and Roshan is about to move back down towards that bottom side. So logically, they're going to be wanting to play there anyway. Hope we get it before that is the case, though. Cheese. That's right. We don't leave that cheese there, Chrysalis. I do want to see him go the MKB first before this Swiftling, right? Like, he's able to get the, I wonder if Morphling's going to just buy the shard, just so that you can start shifting into that strength during the Abyssal Blade, if they are perfect with their initiation onto you. But Nullifier is still so important. Like, it's a really hard decision.
I don't think you can buy it when you're this far behind. I just considered the damage output. Wymon? I was actually going to try and drop the kisses, but it's just a beacon for Chrysalis to jump and get the kill on the Snapfire. And now it's another double Echo Stomp. They can do whatever they can to try and repair some of the damage, but the Hand of God is not enough in the high ground. It's not going to be a deterrent as well. Inside the base they go. They're just bypassing Tomato. Maybe Poppy's going to be a bit cautious. Might die to the tower. Pops the smoke to live, and oh, come on, dude. This Poppy guy, Secret, maybe one fight away or moments away of being able to get their first victory of the Riyadh Masters.
It'd be well worth it. You know, they did everything right. You know, I was a little worried at how passive that first little bit of the game was, but the positive side is as soon as they got that Blink Dagger, as soon as they had the pipe available, Armel almost was, you know, giving it away with a couple of kills, and Chrysalis, I'm not sure a tier 4 tower is the place you need to be. Especially when that Morphling is still dead for the next 30.
Half shot, kind of cool.
Power shot.
I don't know if it's going to help out too much though. That looks very cool. Meanwhile, Puppy's just pushing in top.
Puppy's doing what they should be doing, pushing. And he's even got the gem as well, so he's taken out all of their vision that they've got around the map as well. The map is completely dark right now for TSM. A little bit of a right-click threat on his own with that Boots of Bearing. Destruction as well.
Yep, very high level.
Bringing people into negative armor now off the back of that.
Dude, he's one level behind Tomato.
Yep. And Midas Morphling as well.
Yeah.
Who's been level 18 for what feels like 5 minutes.
And has not progressed items in a very long time. Which I mean, I do not think is Tomato's fault at all. I think it's just, what do you mean, well? What could Tomato do? I don't know, I think there's a... Kasane? Get the helmet out. And maybe buy some time for the team. But the team won't really be able to help out at all. They're just going to look idly by and watch.
These do-nothing drafts, man, they'll get you every single time. And, you know, if you're sitting back and you're doing nothing, the enemy team, they're going to be bringing the fight to you. What they're going to be able to do with it. Aestrin popped by Armel as well, so if anyone steps forward to try and defend this, he's just going to look to just dive straight in onto them. Aghanim Scepter coming out to him now on the courier too. Playing around that invis.
Hail Mary play. Ooh. Oh, Chris was quick on the fingers to try and take Bryle out of the equation, and they'll do that with ease. And now they can even... Oh, dude, Tomato cause GD. He gets slept instantly before the attribute shift. and he will type GG before they right-click him as well. Secret just completely run them over in this game one.
They did what they needed to do, right? There's only so many times we could say the same thing, but we've seen it time and time again, right? Snapfire, the way to beat it, outpace it, and then they doubled down with the Morphling Midas that really just didn't provide all of the damage, the utility. And Underlord, again, he's not the greatest pusher. You had to rely almost entirely, it felt, on Whitemon to put a lot of the pressure on in the early games. And at the end of the day, he's a position 5 Chen. The man cannot do everything on his own. He was even doing a lot right with getting the Satyr Banisher, that early nullifier equivalent, but eventually they just got far too far ahead on Secret because of all the objectives they were able to provide. And really, it's on the back of Pup, right? The amount of Echo Stomps that this man was able to land, the perfect positioning of the Astral Spirit, even when the Stomp wasn't being used, it meant that this heavy-ish lineup was able to just rip through the TSM roster.
I think Pup is a very big reason why they won this game. I think MVP from, I mean, you said the team fights. I really don't think that lane is, without the Elder Titan, is supposed to go the way that it did. We spoke about the ET Rubik lane matchup, and sometimes that Ursa can have a lot of weaknesses there, and we saw what Puppy was able to do to just pretty much solo zone out both the Rubik and the Underlord, which got to the stage where Chrysalis was able to play 1v1 versus Kasane, got a solo kill, got a 12-minute Battle Fury, and then, of course, we mentioned that Ursa versus Morphling is a very, very good matchup, even for a hero we do not see often. So, Puppy, incredible performance. Secret, incredible performance. They weren't able to get any wins yesterday, but they were very competitive, and finally some things are going to go their way. But it is just game one. Can they continue with this momentum, or are TSM going to be able to strike back? We'll find out after the break.
مستمتع وتلاقي الوجبة جاية على الأصول واو يجيك العيش هش طالع من الأوفن والدجاج يقرمش just the way I love it وتسوي كده وتسوي كده وتسوي كده مع الحشمة وانت بغراب خفيفة جيب تويستر أنا تجيب لي وجبة الزنجر بس كله يجيب اكسترا تشيز على الكرانشي تشيكن في السنتر حطلب باكت حطلب زنجر حطلب مايتي حطلب تويستر جيب له باكت جيب له زنجر جيب له الأصلي جيب له تويستر delicious yeah
Secret able to find their first victory of the Riyadh Masters. A incredible performance from them overall. We're going to find out if they can get a second victory over TSM, who had a very good showing in day one, where they had a 1-1 against the boys on Shopify, against the boys on Liquid as well. Maybe there's a bit of a trend going on for TSM if they're able to take this second game, but we're going to have to see what they do a bit differently here.
Going to be a bit of a meme, isn't it? Just the ties constantly with this squad. And honestly, I think they can clean it up. You know, a few of their fights didn't go horribly. It's just they literally had no tools to be able to get through that mid game. You know, they tried their very best, but a Midas, Lincoln's, Morphling, they had the Ags, but he just had no boys to be able to play with was the big issue for mine. So the draft, a little bit off for TSM, Secret. They had to execute, and it really does show how big their margin for error was. Like, you basically had 7 levels to be able to make something happen. It took them probably a little bit longer than it should have. Maybe a more experienced team could have closed that one out faster, because there were 2 deaths from Armel. Love the guy. That probably shouldn't have happened, right? So that's the sort of thing that Secret, even in a win, they're going to be able to take something out of that game and still look to improve potentially.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot they can look for as well with that game, and we'll see what they're going to be able to do differently. But we were getting this draft underway pretty shortly. You're going to see what the changes priority is. Secret, they're on Radiant with first pick. TSM on Dire with second pick as well. I don't know who'd priority this game, actually. Did you see? I didn't.
No, I didn't see. It's too damn fast.
But fast.
You got to make sure whenever you're going up against first phase double pick, get rid of that Lesh. I like this this strategy. Sorry, spoilers, draft isn't up, but Secret, they've gone ahead and banned the Leshrac out. It's good, right? Like, it's still good in non-IO drafts, so may as well just remove the hero overall. Just being able to put it into the position 1 role if the situation does arise for it. I do want to see... That was the first loss, actually, for Kasane on his Underlord, so... the streak is gone. I love that they keep banning out this Enigma. It is something that they're just going to prioritize quite heavily across a lot of the European teams. I'm seeing it very consistently come out, and I think this is the same bans, actually, for TSM, with Yamich heavily preferring his Monkey King in that position 4 role.
10 seconds
I mean,
remaining.
even Chrysalis as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's a
5
scary
seconds
Monkey
remaining.
King player. He is indeed, so... Seen in the past that his Monkey Bloodseeker to be his 2 best heroes.
Surely you just pick the ET again. Surely. Why not?
TSM
But every time Puppy plays the ET, it's just boss. Alright, I'm fine with this.
TSM
They wanted more flex. Go for it.
Oh,
Ooh.
Razor?
Primal?
Storm? Alright.
Alright. It's a bit more fast-paced already than what we had in the previous game, which is a plus. I really like seeing Bryle when he's able to just style and Bryle on these mid-heroes like the Storm Spirit. I mean, every single time TA rocks around, I always put Bryle in my fantasy, because the man knows how to get active. He knows how to get kills across the map. He's a damn good laner as well. I think he just was given a little bit of a disservice with having to go up against a last pick Rim Ranger for 1, and then again being in this really awkward middle period where he couldn't do much of anything. I was actually having a bit of a think about it during the break as well, and I'm sure it's going to come up in the last few days of the group stage, but there are ways to get past that really awkward period on the Snapfire, right? Like the 13 to 19 period. Just go something like an Axe, you know? It still provides you with a lot of stats. So
I
no.
don't know.
It makes sense,
Okay, I'll
man.
hear you out.
It provides a lot of stats. Anytime a universal hero can buy an Aghanim Scepter, it provides you a lot of just survivability. It provides you a ton of damage, so you're still not ruining your eventual scale for that level 20. And you actually have an additional tool to be able to take team fights, so you don't feel completely worthless. Hell, you can even just use it as a farming tool, right? Just glob something out onto a creep wave so that you're not actually having to put your body there as well.
I like the Primal Beast for Secret. I mean, this is
Wow,
just...
so you don't like my Snapfire theory.
I don't know, but I
Does
thought
it sway you that it's what Samael does?
10 seconds remaining.
It's very expensive, 4,200 gold to... Like, why don't you just go Midas?
I can see Midas, but again, it really doesn't mean you're doing
Yeah.
anything in that middle period, you know?
I don't know if that would change if you have heroes where you can actually like set up for kisses. Like I don't know if you like have easier heroes to initiate. Because if you don't have playmakers, then I feel like we feel the weaknesses Snapfire more. If you have like a 4 an off lane or someone who's able to be active, they can start the fight. You can send kisses
a Batrider
in.
and a Primal Beast, for example.
Exactly. Yeah.
We can get away with seeing an Armel Snapfire this game.
Yeah, like that like that's the thing. You got people to go in. You're going to have value with your kisses. Otherwise, you kind of have to get into the middle of the fight. So. Well, I'm very intrigued about the Scepter. You know, it does give you more credit if someone is already doing it, like the King. So maybe I should not.
You're such a fan. That's what I thought. As soon as the King does it, you're like, oh no, I could see how it works.
Look, I would definitely prefer like Midas if you're gonna go something, and or I would just prefer like you to draft around it. But you know, like I respect the reasoning. Mm-hmm. Right, so.
And we've seen the Snapfire do well against the Storm in lane as well. We have to also consider that, especially like you have a Batrider to potentially make a rotation onto it if it is played as a 4 Batrider as well. So that's another big benefit going their way.
Because I mean with the IO getting picked up from TSN, you're probably going to be looking at supports that are going to be able to set up for relocate. So I mean Clockwork's one that comes to mind versus the Primal Beast. Is any others that you're able to think of?
That's the main one for now. I'm also just thinking like I think Disruptor has a pretty decent priority for Team Secret this game. I know it's not really like a puppy style hero, but I think you absolutely want that against an IO. You want it to be able to set up things like the Batrider.
Wow.
I think Techies instead. I mean, I guess if you're able to get a nice launch up. I mean, you're not really using the relocate that much, right? You're being used as like a storm battery instead.
No, but it is a huge part of the hero that
10 seconds remaining.
Kind of would like to.
I would have been totally fine with the Clockwork.
Yeah.
Let me get that out there.
No, I know, yeah.
I can understand the techies in its entirety, right? Like we've seen people mine up areas for the late game. Just like, when is this really important area going to come into the game? Fine, litter it with mines. And then when they do eventually come, they're just going to get absolutely obliterated. One of the good techies answers we've seen over the past few months when techies was an absolute monster. Nice way to be able to get rid of that reactive taser. Nice way to be able to harass from range. High techies armor don't mean jack into impetus. I like it, and it's a puppy hero, so I will trust Mr. Papan.
I wonder if they show their mid laner or go for their Chrysalis hero if you want to keep the flex, because you already see the Storm Spirit. So at least for Armel, he will know his matchup.
Oh,
yo, what the heck?
I mean, burst damage is kind of what you want. Depends, right? I think they're going to be relying on FBZ to make a lot of the action happen on the backline, so that Tiny, like it's a mid-Tiny, has a good time against this, just to burst down the Storm Spirit during that period of vulnerability, you know? Even just the IO, burst the IO, don't let him get a mech off.
This hero is super volatile though, as a core.
Let's go the GPK, build Barrah.
Yep. I mean, which is nothing crazy, but just that's kind of the playstyle. You go treads and you literally just farm until blink. You don't show up to anything without that item. So we shall see. We shall see. What's the response going to be for TSM? Do they want to pick up their tomato hero? I don't really know the lane setup.
I mean, to be fair, like this could even be like a mid primal, a 4 Tiny, and a 3 Batrider, right?
Yeah.
Like you haven't actually totally revealed anything. We're assuming, just because outside of the Q Tiny and I guess Kataomi, but he's here anymore, rip. We're not seeing too much out of the support Tinies throughout the group stage. So I feel like it makes the most sense to show your core, just because we've already, like, it's Crystallis, right? He doesn't have this huge pool of heroes to be able to choose from, and you've already gotten rid of a few of his heroes so far, and you've got a couple of bans afterwards to be able to deal with it. So I think you can get away with picking up POS 1 here for him. as to what hero that might be. Jug, maybe?
We're speaking of TSM?
Oh, sorry, yes. I'm an idiot. Even for Tomato, I feel fine with a Juggernaut, right? With an IO, you're someone that really benefits out of having that high attack speed. You've also got a way to survive through like a Batrider Primal Beast. Another option. Slark in the pool. Yeah, give me some Slark.
I don't think you play that into... You would just play Primal Beast offlane. Dino destroys it.
Not sure if it does with an IO, though. That's the thing.
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Fine with this too.
Probably have to ban the Deucer straight away. We've already seen Chrysalis play it, I believe, yesterday. And I mean...
just see a Bloodseeker beat a Deucer draft as well.
Oh, wait. Like... I felt there was a lot of other things in that went into that game.
Oh, LGD hater, I see.
Oh, God, what the hell, dude? Come on, I didn't say that. I'm a big PSG LGD fan.
All right. How are they going to round out this draft? The Doom ban, huh?
10 seconds.
Little odd.
remaining.
I suppose the Primal Beast, it always feels good, a nice way to be able to get through. Like, they don't have any BKB piercing disable is a big issue for mine right now. They've got save, right? Like the Batrider, the Primal Beast, they're always going to be somewhat counterable with the IO. You really need to be on point with how you're using that relocate against the Pulverize, because you can just get stunned up unless you're perfect with your timing for it. But Whitemon's been flawless so far on this hero, so I can certainly see him being able to make it work.
I think Tide could be a consideration for TSM. Tide Tech is very strong. I think they have zero team fight, which would very much fix it. So, of course, we need to see what Secret's going to draft, though. Darkseid getting banned out, so maybe they're thinking of some illusion type of carry. Did you say TA, sorry?
Yeah. I think that's a consideration.
Where do we see... I mean, when I see Darkseid ban, I maybe think of like a Terrorblade, but I feel like you actually can play into a Terrorblade this game on TSM, so I don't know how concerned you are.
Yeah, I mean, it's that plus the Doom, right? Like this weird damage over time style, because they really have nothing right now that does it on TSM side. So I feel like you could potentially get away with a TA, plus it also can synergize fairly well with an Enchantress that's wanting to build Solar Crest, both for the TA and Roche and for pushing. So I feel like you could probably make that one work. If you go Tide Techies, then the Tide is still killable with a TA pickup.
I mean, we saw this earlier today, right? With the Bloodseeker Lifestealer, so I think Axe is something you could be considering for TSM. I think the Tide lane is very passive. I think you'll probably farm, but I think the Lifestealer will never get kicked out.
5 seconds remaining.
Where is Kasane going to play into this? Can you Razor? Tide. Okay. Yeah, still just the Tide. Good call. It doesn't feel amazing as the Tide, we gotta say, right? Like for the lane in particular. Like Tide is a hero that just wants to stay in that lane, and so does Lifestealer. And right now you are lacking any push, honestly.
Out of media though.
Yeah, but Lifestealer is just gonna whack you a few times in the face and then pop the rage and keep hitting you and keep hitting you and keep hitting you. You know?
Yeah. I don't know, does Tide really care about those hits though as well?
He does. Like if you get a few points in the feast, I think. Percentage damage always good against the Tide Hunter. You ignore the Kraken Shell.
So I mean, regardless, just to highlight the points we brought up before about the Tide, I think strong lane with Techies, Gush with I mean his right click was nerfed in the recent patch, but regardless, Gush with Techies right click is very dumb, and you had no team fight. So I definitely don't hate the Tide Hunter pick. A lot of it's going to come down to, can you push the Lifestealer out of the lane? That is just the one thing I'm not 100% certain about with the Meteor Hammer or not. I'd kind of prefer Secret's draft, but there's also a lot of question marks as well. Like this tiny hero is super hit or miss. Like you can have a really good game or you can have a really bad game, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, for sure. I think the important thing about the tiny hero is that even with the Tide Hunter pick, it's a hero that actually does quite well against it, you know, with all the magic damage that you're able to output. When you consider, like, you can pulverize him, you can lasso him, Tide's not going to care. He's going to
Prepare
shrug it
for
off with the
battle.
Kraken Shell. They don't have any BKB piercing disable outside of the Bat Rider, so you really just need something that's going to hold in place and allow the Lifestealer to really go to work. So this might be a game where Chrysalis gets into like an early-ish Aghanim Shard build for himself, so that you've got the open wounds both for the Tide Hunter as well as being able to like withstand the man fight against the Bloodseeker.
Also, just to reiterate what we brought up previously with this matchup, you can even look at early halberds and nullifiers, right? Besides your shards, so we'll see. There's definitely a lot of different routes Chrysalis can go down. Shira went, what was it, Midas, Armlet, Deso into nullifier, I believe was his build, at least in that particular game.
But he still didn't get aggressive enough with it. Like, I think he should have done a lot more with the armlet than he did. And it really ended up costing them in the end. It was an even-ish game for like the first 35 minutes, but Extreme Gaming just blew it open after that point. Hopefully for Secret, that won't be the case because they need this win. You know, that would bring them level with TSM. And, you know, a lot of Secret fans were saying, look, if we're going to be able to make it out of this group stage, we need a 2-0 here, and we need to, like, 1-1 potentially against PPT, which, of course, is a much harder prospect.
Yeah, that's... I mean, the BB team just took game 1 off Liquid, and game 2 is in the draft as well, so they are on another level right now, so...
Look at this guy, got the squad stream going while he's casting.
Just in the break, brother. I would never have anything up at the same time. This is... We're all in on Secret TSM here, so we'll see. Nothing too crazy with the lane setup. It's going to be the Io Bloodseeker combination together. Once again, FBZ on the Dino. We will see how this bottom lane goes, though. Of course, like we said, with the gush and the right clicks from R, it can be formidable. Another Courier is going to go down, like we saw to start the last game.
And they're really just giving these ones up for free, aren't they? I mean, that's a big reason why you're able to... Is he going to be okay on this bottom side? On the Lifestealer? Looks like he will be. Playing underneath the tower, having a magic stick available, and... What is happening?
Maybe that's... I mean...
So for Chrysalis, he got out immediately for himself. So if there's anything that just indicates what both Tide and the Lifestealer want to do in this lane, it's not leave. They want to just stick here and constantly be trading right click. Puppey, he's gone for the Nature's Attendance level 1, A, to be able to survive some of the harass tech fighting, and B, it also helps get Chrysalis back up and healthy so that he does maintain a decent amount of tangos against the Tide. Because right now, Tide's having it just fine.
I think at least very early in the lane that should be the case. Maybe like you said, it could be different with more points in Feast. Your life still early on is it's some levels to play. Let's take a look at some of the other lanes. So mid, looking fine at the moment. Not expecting it to be too crazy either way. I mean, Storm Spirit versus melee hero can be really nice once Armel gets some spells and levels. There is always that kill threat onto the Storm.
I mean, they would love to get a kill onto Kasane in this bottom lane to allow Puppey to make a rotation towards mid. You would also... What period does FBZ feel safe? I guess once he's got a Vanguard, you really feel like, you know what, I'm not going to die to a Bloodseeker IO combination, and then Yamich can also make that rotation. I wonder if you can even do it just after the Ring of Health on its own, just because you really want to be punishing the Storm if you can, before he reaches up onto that level 6, and with a Tiny, all you really need is like level 4, and you can pump in a ton of damage into him. One thing making me want to favor TSM, though, is that cute Io skin, man.
Oh, dude, I just don't get it. It looks...
Like your little tongue he's got out of
It's
his
just not that good.
Oh, he's a cutie.
I don't want to, like... I don't want to rip into that much, because someone did make it, but, you know, I think it is very overhyped.
Just whenever I see him attack, he charges up his whole body to make the attacks happen.
Oh, yeah,
He's trying so hard, man.
Oh, come on, man. We got a first blood down bottom. Stop your Craiggasm over just an IO set.
Sorry, Pablo. Let you down. Shout out to our observer, Pablo, by the way.
Yeah, he didn't miss that one, Chrysalis. He was probably on the ball, and Chrysalis gets first blood, so... I think he got the solo experience. I got the tail end of it where Chrysalis was on the bridge. I wasn't sure if Poppy was there as well, so...
He was nowhere nearby.
Okay.
Poppy was jungling. What did you expect?
What a creep, dude.
Stealer.
No.
Good luck, anchor smashing, brother.
I don't know what an 18-second cooldown, but I guess that is well deserved with how dumb it is. Mid lane, Brio. It's okay. Yamich is going to do a drive-by. Bro might not get a rune though. Armel's lacking some mana. Has enough for the toss. Can they kill Armel? Maybe it's just a little bit of poking, but yeah, no rune's going to go the way of Brio.
Runes is the thing. I mean, Yamich will be able to at least pick it up for himself. So, taking that one away from Brio. That one as well needs to make sure I guess FBZ feels totally fine up here on his own. He's going to be able to last hit fairly well. Say that as he misses the deny from Tomato's face, gives it the high five. You know what? There was a lot of creeps there. Sometimes you can fat figure it a little bit.
Oh, right.
It's happened to me many times, alright?
I
Don't say I don't doubt it. Yeah, that's right.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to be like, I don't think you can compare yourself to FBZ or Tomato, but that's okay.
Far better.
You are or them? I just want to clarify.
Yes.
Yeah. Whether it's me or them, no one would know. No, just, definitely FBZ. This is the baller.
Freaking Puppy. Just blocking camps with his Mind Stealer as well, just as it's about to expire. Just making himself an absolute menace. Even at 30 years old, he is still being just such a grief for his
Why'd you say it like that?
He's 30 anything, you know? I just want to give him a bit of leeway.
Oh, okay. Alright. Understandable. Some old captains here. Solo as well, I think it's like 32.
Oh, man. That old. Don't call it off, please.
Sorry, dude. I know you're close to that age as well.
Yeah.
Ari might... Yeah, okay, I was going to say, has to blast off. So, where the hell is my action, Danog? When are we going to get kills? What are we looking for at this early game?
Well, Storm just hit his level 6, so he wasn't going to make anything happen for that period. They were able to scout out the movements from Yamich towards that mid lane fairly well. Maybe a little bit more stacks could be built up. Tide Hunter does need to be able to take them, but I suppose Kasane, his main role is to just stay out on these lanes as well, right? Make sure that he's got that Meteor Hammer hitting into the tower as quickly as possible, because Chrysalis, this is the period where he can really just have a bit of an easier time. Even just with the 1 point in the feast, it's the attack speed of the Ghoul Frenzy that allows him to push Kasane away.
I do also wonder what the build's going to be for Brile this game. You know, we've spoken a lot about the new trend of the Orchid Storm Spirit, which even without a steroid, we see Kuretaka like to go down. But maybe this game it's something that Brile might be considering he does have that IO, so maybe he doesn't need the Kaya to keep himself afloat.
I guess so, but like, I mean, the only target that you really want to go onto in that sort of situation then is Chrysalis, right? Like, he is the one that you need to make sure you're shutting out, because if not, you've got ways to be able to save through the Primal Beast charge through, even the Infest Bomb, or the big burst of HP. Feels like it could do wonders, just making sure that you're nullifying a big strength of the enemy lineup. So I really wouldn't mind seeing Storm Spirit go a little bit more down just like the pure damage route. The Kaya Sange feels totally fine to me.
Overall, like, with the very passive game that we have currently, who do you feel like this favors? I know it's super early on, but is there a lineup that kind of wants the game to look like this compared to the other?
For me, it's Secret. If you're not making plays around a Storm Spirit IO, then you're going to have a lot more difficulty, right? Because you're always going to be falling a little bit behind in XP. We know that Tiny, look at it, Armel's gone the GPK build, right? He's gone the Power Treads, a bunch of stats, going into the Blink Dagger. He's even got a Tumbler's Toy to be able to make plays around with, and on top of everything else, you've got 2 greedy supports in an Enchantress and a Bat Rider just looking to make stacks. And you've already seen over on the support graph there, sorry, the gold graph, the supports have built up a nice little lead. I'm just gonna die up here.
Yeah, he is indeed, it looks like. Alright, Secret, nicely done. That's a gigantic kill. Tomato had no help. White Woman's back in the jungle with Brile. So that might be able to open up this top lane now.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Will.
Oh, what happened there? I don't... We're getting a lot of all chats this tournament, bro. Zip in, they're going to try and target down Poppy with Ari's damage. They will do so with ease.
I mean, do you care? Like, it's a TP in, right? From, I guess only... The techies did TP up there, so it makes it a little bit more awkward. It means that, again, you're just feeling totally safe on this bottom side. You're still doing a good job on Kasane to potentially push this tower down, but I really don't feel like until you've got that... Maybe Braille does have to go in Orchid. Lifestealer's life is never really a threat for me. Like, even if the tower goes down, he can still just sit in this bottom lane and feel totally fine with it. He's even going to deny the tower before Kasane gets the opportunity to take it. I like it.
Yep. It's so crazy that the Tide can actually shove the Lifestealer out like that. Alright, yep, Kasane is going to get whatever farm he wants. We'll see what he's going to be able to do with that. It will be a much different game out of him. 4th in net worth. But, I mean, Armel is going to have a blink at a incredible timing. Also a nice card.
So annoying. How much to be able to do that? Is Io around to give him a little bit of a mana boost?
Yes, he is.
But is it going to be enough? Looks like it might. Hopefully Ari doesn't need to yoink the kill, and, well, he won't. But still, this is what the Batrider does, right? And it's really why I like teams that like to pick up. Like, do you think that's the place that you really want to be playing at this point of the game with TSM? No. You don't want your power treads to be sniped. You don't want your kill potential to be hindered. And you don't want to give Armel the space that he needs to get this 10-minute Blink Dagger. Send it over to Yamich. Wanting to wait.
Hi, Puppy.
Kill as well. Very nicely done. They have a smoke as well to be able to use, so they just want to close in onto Tomato on this top side. I believe they can see that he's up here. They'll at least know that the wave is pulled. Now they will absolutely know.
Still no relocate too. Only needs a little bit of experience to be able to find it, so without that extra reinforcements, Tomato will go down. Nice blink reveal from Mel. And...
want to do with it, right, is, yeah, I don't think anything's going to happen bot lane, Bryle. You do not have power treads, you do not have any boys, and the only reason Chrysalis is that low is because he was armlet toggling. I mean, Kasane is going from lane to lane, especially playing around this siege creep as well. It's going to make the tower go down potentially a little faster, but TP's coming in.
And the relocate too. They're going to go to the backline instead.
No toss.
And they get the rapid shot before the kill. Kasane is going to be able to land it. Bra wants to turn to try and deal with Puppy. That's a pretty good jump in from Ari as well. Have they got the damage out to follow up on TSM? Bra's still going to continue to commit. They don't drag him out. Or they didn't bring the storm straight up. Brawley doesn't have the mana to escape, and Armel's already looking for Tomato. Won't be able to catch up to him. Nor will they run into Ari as well. Like, it looked okay for TSM, but in the end, not to be without dragging the Storm Spirit out.
I mean, they really wanted to stick around just to kill FBZ, right? Like, it's pretty rare that you're going to have an opportunity to kill the Primal Beast in an area like that, but that's the power of the Lifesteal, right? That Infest Bomb just leaving him feeling totally safe, allowing him to get that turnaround with the Pulverize, and a little bit unfortunate that it turns out that way for TSM, but this is it, right? Your supports are continuing to greed it up. They're getting a ton of value out of this map, and I mean, we're talking at lengths about a 10-minute tiny Blink Dagger, but Yamich has nearly got his. This is a support Batrider who's
if they get this kill, this is huge, man. It's a gigantic kill into Armel. Chrysalis still doesn't have the Infest to be able to give him some bonus health, so Armel will go down, but the rest of Secret is starting to funnel into the area. Ari just dug his own grave with that jump in. Crystals will farm some of the mines. Meanwhile, Kasane's, why not use the Meteor? I don't know. He gets the tower, but I don't know if he's going to escape off the back of this.
Tower's worth. That's all he was really wanting, right? He wants the map to open up a little bit more, so it's a bit easier for, you know, the relocate plays to be able to happen. You want to be farming on the enemy side of the map. You want to be taking away a lot of their farm. That's why it is still so important that Puppy and Yamich continue to try and play on the TSM side of the map, so that TSM can't do that, can't force them back. You want to force the enemy team to be making defensive moves if you're both teams at this point of the game.
Armel is hunting. Nice observe word. Probably Puppy's going to be able to get a D-ward out pretty shortly. And we shall see, though. I mean, still have been impressed. I mean, Brawl 4-1-1, third in net worth. We need to continue to see him be very active along with Whitemon, especially with his Kai now completed. And with those towers going down, you do have a larger map to be able to play with to get these pickoffs.
I'm just looking at Puppy's item build, and I cannot recall the last time I've seen Holy Locket Enchantress come out. I mean, I guess they're really just going to be focusing all in on the attendance up.
He's fine. He's so okay. Limon is not, on the other hand. You're gonna be able to get to it. FPC's like, yep, that's mine. And now they're gonna force all the mana out of Brile.
Link up in 3 as well. Still going.
They will.
Wonder if he tries to infest first.
Oh,
they see him.
I don't think Brile saw him as soon as he went to the low ground. What is that? What is that timing?
Zuma reflexes, man. That's what that is. Why don't you have them?
What? What? Oh, how do you know I don't?
I've played pubs with you.
Dude, you played like 2. Come on now.
And that's all I needed.
That's all you need to get that knowledge. All right, all right. I mean, I feel like that was a perfect example of what this Holy Locket's able to do, right? I mean, you just saw Puppy max out attendance. Storm's not going to kill you. Techies and Tide are not. And Tomato is nowhere near at the stage where he's going to be able to deal the damage. This Maelstrom, yes, it'll accelerate his farm and it's a core item, but he needs a lot more time. And Chrysalis and Yamich in combination together, they're going to be able to run into Ari as well. So Chrysalis is having a exceptional game to follow up with his Ursa performance in game 1.
I also have to wonder, like, yes, of course, it makes you yourself harder to kill, right? But I also wonder, like, we were saying before, TSM's draft is just dying to ancient creeps, nothing anyone on Secret are doing. They're very single target outside of this Ravage, right? So even if you're just able to be there standing next to them with that Nature's Attendance healing up for extra, even just using the active of the Holy Locket and able to withstand that initial burst that the Storm Spirit provides, then you're like, all right, cool, now what? You know, what are you going to be able to do to respond to this? And Ryle, for the longest time, had the full Kaya Sanj queued up. He's going into the Orchid now, so I don't hate it. I think this really feels like a thing of necessity that he feels like, you know what, whoever we go on, they can't be allowed to just turn around and get these saves off.
Sane. They want to relocate in to potentially take the fight, but it looks like the damage is getting dealt too fast for them to even think about returning fire. So, yeah, like you said, no glyph. They want to put the pressure on. Maybe they consider Roche. I mean, Deso, I think he's completed.
Coming out on the career, so absolutely, that's something that they can look to do. No Solar Crest, I believe, but they should have plenty of damage.
I have a bit of an issue with these techies here. I feel like it makes their lineup very awkward to play on TSM, where we are not really seeing the value that it's able to provide, where you don't have a way to start. It's really just the Storm Spirit. And I feel like IO lineups really thrive on just having multiple ways to get pickoffs across the map.
Yeah, I wonder with the Spirit Vessel as well, like, what the mentality is, because if you're not getting kills, you're not getting charges, and could something like, I don't know, a Veil potentially been better? You know, combine the Veil together with the Proximity Mines, magic resistance reduction, maybe you do blow that one target up before they're able to actually withstand a lot of what you're trying to do. I mean, Lifesteal is just going to rage it off. He doesn't really care. Are you really wanting to buy that much into to counter an Enchantress? Probably not.
Hang on, they're reading this pretty well on Secret. Looks like they're maybe going to bait Chrysalis down bottom. I was going to run straight into with an early rage. Pops the DD super early on as well. Is this the fight you've been waiting for in TSM? Armor gets a turnaround and... oh my lord, they just blow him up. Couldn't react at all. There's going to be no potential to keep him alive, and now they're going to split away. Ari to the right gets the teleport away. Limon's going to tether the creeps as well, but the armor blink is back up. They're going to be able to close the distance with ease.
He's using the Dino as a vehicle right now. He's saying, look for more. Give me more. See if they're farming. They are not. They've had to back off in time. And of course, the Observer Ward from taking the Roshan revealed a little bit of that positioning as Yamich. He's looking for a pick off here onto Tomato. He's probably going to land it too.
Alright. Alright, let's see what they're going to be able to do to protect him. Jump in, but it will not matter. Brile as well, considering about zipping in, but he just sees all his heroes getting killed off. Ari? No, alright, never mind. This arm went long enough.
Could have given him a Vortex. Come on, Brile.
I think it's, maybe a little bit greedy. Yamich. Oh, Brile's using all his mana for this as well. Should be able to get the kill with Kasane here, at least to come
But again, is that really what you're wanting to do? He still took 1.5 creep waves, plus, I believe, 1 neutral camp.
Look at
and
Puppy.
it took 3 heroes to kill him. And yeah, look at Puppy. That's all we're saying, right? This is the space that it allows you to do. This is like, the way Secret are playing this game is how Liquid play a lot of the time. You know, they have these annoying position 3 and position 4 heroes that just take away so much of your map that force bad defensive rotations that the cores are just free to farm to their heart's content. Of course, it's assisted by having like great individual performances in lane, but it just makes the mid game so easy.
Yeah, I mean, it was... with the lineup that we see out of TSM, was there ever a potential for the mid game to look easy for them? Did something just go wrong in the early game, or was this always going to be a weakness for them?
I think they probably would have hoped to get out of that safe lane potentially a little better. Like you mentioned, the Tide techies, as you know, it's a strong combination just because of how the right clicks do work. It was a very small nerf to the techies damage, so I don't think it was enough to make it that bad.
Gonna make an attempt onto FBZ. Gonna be able to activate the pipe. Is he taking enough before the reinforcement show up? They're starting to TP in. They will have the damage, and now they're still gonna try and find some retribution. Tomato splits away from the boys, but they unable to get a vision with the nighttime. They will run into Ari inside the tree lane. Kasane actually wants to TP into the uppers. This is the fight you want to take. He'll commit with the TP. Ravage is ready. Clips onto 3. This could be the opportunity they've been waiting for. They're starting to fall low. Tomato can clean up. They'll be able to chase down Puppy. Now turn to Crystallis next as well. But he's got the Aegis and Armel still hand in hand. Another combo secures the kill. But the name of the game, kite the life stealer. Avoid him as best as you can. With the invest up, it's going to make it that much more difficult. Armel, does he
he's
jump?
got another Avatos combo.
Gonna go over the top of the tree line. Instead, go for Whitemon. That's an easy target, but good positioning out of Tomato. They'll find the tether away. And signs of life for TSM.
A couple of times now that Armel has just been a little bit off the mark with the toss, but yeah, we can see that they are capable of taking these team fights, but it has to be around the Ravage. They don't get the potential to just stand and fight unless that Tide Hunter ultimate is available, and well, now it's going to be on cooldown for another 100 seconds, so what can you take in the meantime? You've still got a full minute left on this this Aegis. Have they got a full nullifier completed already?
Mid lane, another attempt onto FBZ. This time he does have some backup, and Yamich is ready in the trees, just waiting to spring the trap, and is going to jump onto Tomato. The status resistance will minimize some of the duration, but it doesn't look like it's going to matter though, as Armel even looking for the +1, fighting to combo onto Whitemon in the backline. And that'll result in a double kill for FBZ right in front of the tier 2 tower, so they can also get another objective.
Not just this, they can get a tier 3 tower as well. 15 seconds left on the Aegis, but more importantly, the nullifier coming out now. So you're not worried about that reactive taser. You're not worried about the Blood Rage either, to allow that Bloodseeker to actually do a ton of damage into your team.
Oh, it's such a minor thing as well, and Yamich just cuts top, so maybe they can go for that top tier 2 tower if this push doesn't work. At least they're going to have the map control in their favor as Aegis does tick out. Let's see what the call is going to be for Secret. Crystallis still feels strong with Tomato down for another 5.
Incredibly strong.
Whoa.
Look how much damage he's doing into these towers with that Orb of Destruction as well. For a little bit of armor reduction, and this is the last glyph that they're going to get for the game. This is before he's even got that Aghanim Shard for the open wounds. We were talking about how important that's going to be at just ripping through the Tide Hunter. Of course, he's got a ton of damage, but a little bit more control provided to the rest of the team as well. So Secret in prime position to be able to close this one out.
And what a huge 2-0 would be for them as well. Like we said, Secret was 0-4, but they had very competitive games on day 1. They just weren't able to get over the finish line. They will, of course, still have to do that so far, but with a 12,000 net worth lead, they're going to look to go back again. It's almost a fake back. They've got well, that scouts out Ari. They're going to see Kasane shortly as well.
Korea might give away the position.
They got Tomato.
They've found the right one.
What a jump. Once again, Secret always being able to catch that prime member they need. Be able to start the fight. Armel's already even setting up just in case someone... there's a straggler outside the lane, but no one will be there.
One will be there. Didn't have to pop the open wounds for that as well, so they might not be aware that he's got this one available unless they're checking his inventory right now, but that top lane is just free food for this Secret roster. Able to take that one out nice and easily. Puppy as well is in a position to just keep this push going as well. The timing of the drums just allows even the tiny from some of those right clicks to really start to come into front part of this equation. He's going into a Silver Edge next. Against the Tide Hunter, feels pretty damn good and just allows for even more initiation and setup.
Let's see how they're going to be able to take the fight. This could just be the last fight. A smoke wraparound. They're going to start on Brile. Awkward reveal. Kasana's going to be ready with the Ravage as well. They're all grouped up, but the Crimson Guard will mitigate some of the damage, and they're splitting their attention onto multiple secret members, and they just shrug off the initiation and look to turn and dive deeper inside the base or relocate out, but it means Kasane has no boys to protect him. As that was the last fight. There is nothing left in the tank. If you buy back on Tide, there's no Ravage to work with, and Secret still have 5 members.
Yeah, this one is done. Secret have been able to crack open the base already in that mid lane, and now they're going to do it a second time around. No Ravage, no Cares, not even a Rupture to be able to play with. That's a big reason why a lot of teams pick the Bloodseeker against the Lifestealer, is that if you can't have this transport, you can't actually do a lot of your right clicks off, but don't have the ultimates, they have nothing to worry about, so they're just going to go down. 3 charges left on the drums, a fully charged up Desolator as well. They're going to have no base to be able to play with. 5 minutes. Dominating performance coming through from Team Secret. Still having some fun. Armel doing a little bit of tower damage just by tossing all Meg Chrysalis up in the air. She's even giving him the high five right in front of the fountain, and they're not even going to tab that last hurrah, just calling the GG.
Man. Alright. I'm like... Whatever they did on Secret, they found a pretty goddamn good recipe now. Like, whatever the talk was last night, I mean, I know you got Heen, you got addition of Eki as well as a analyst, which is over there in Riyadh with the boys, but whatever they spoke about last night over those games, this is a completely different Secret. They look very good.
They do. I don't know if it's something as simple as this, but just pick the Batrider, man. It is such a strong hero. They weren't picking it at all in like the 3 months in the lead up to this, and as soon as they have 2 Batrider games, they get their first 2 wins, and in really dominant fashion as well. They're just able to flex it in such an effective way that you don't give away a lot of your draft, make these really non-ideal rotations happen, and it's always good to have a BKB piercing stun, so I love that they've not stayed stubborn with this. They've chosen to switch things around a little bit, and it's clearly paying dividends for them.
Yeah, I'd like to even loop the Primal Beast into that as well. I think this was, I mean, that was another hero, right? Which they open up the draft in Game 1 and Game 2. Like, just provides them so much. Yeah, these heroes can be flexed in multiple roles. Armel's got a mean Primal Beast. I even think that, because we got to see, I know Entity aren't here, but we saw Katomi and Entity as a whole look very good with the Primal Beast as a 4, and I think that's something that we will see later down the tournament. That is still like a secret weapon in a way. So whatever they've done differently from Secret, hopefully they are able to continue that, because this is a much needed 2-0 over TSM.
I mean, even just like, I'm going to talk about the Batrider point just for a tiny bit longer, just because I think the first time they picked it up was actually yesterday against Asta in a game that went for 69 minutes. Like, if you're taking Asta to 69 minutes, you know you're doing something right, you know? And for a team like Secret, who a lot of people were predicting to be towards the bottom end, if you're going that deep into a game against one of potentially like a top 6 favorite, then that has to give you a lot of confidence. And clearly, you know, Asta prioritized it next game. They won with it in 40 minutes, but this time around they pick it twice. They get 2 wins in really convincing style. So big props need to be given to Secret. Big props potentially to their new analyst that's with them in Riyadh, and hopefully for their sake and their fans, they're able to keep the wins coming.
Hopefully, but the next series is against a formidable opponent in BB Team, who, again, like we were saying, they took Game 1 versus Liquid. I'm not quite sure how Game 2 is looking, but that is a scary team who are yet to be defeated so far. In fact, I think they 2-0
Liquid. They are still
Liquid.
Yet to be defeated. Yeah,
Yes.
They're still yet to be defeated. How long was Game 2?
32 minutes, I think.
Minutes. Yeah, that is... As long as Pure just doesn't open up any apps or any programs, we'll be good. No Spotify, no Twitch chat, nothing. We just want to see Dota being played, and they can do it at such a high level.
That they can indeed. A very scary team that Secret have to go up against next. But of course, that's our last series of the night on this stream, in fact. But next series we're going to be covering will be the boys on EG taking on OG. So EG currently first place in Group A. OG currently tied with 6. So they need to get some wins under their belt. It's going to be about a 30-minute break though. So plenty of time to get some food, get some water. When we come back, we've got our third series, EG versus OG. We'll see you guys shortly.